Welcome everyone. So make sure you guys can hear me. As you join the session, please let us know. Sorry, maybe there's some echo here. As you join the session, please let us know your role and where you're tuning in from. Feel free to type in your role and where you're coming from in the chat. I would love to know where you guys are coming from and what do you do for your school. Hi, Keisha, welcome. Thanks for tuning in from New York. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for tuning in from Wisconsin. Hi, Maria. We have a lot of educator tuning in from New York. Hi, Holly. Good to see you again. Oh, Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for tuning in from New York. We also have counselors from California, North Carolina, North Dakota, Georgia. Hi, Marine. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Carrie. We still have people join to the session. We'll start in a short minute. I'm very excited about today's topic, and I can't wait to share the tools that I created for counselors to integrate AI into your workflow. So not only you can save time, but you'll be able to connect with your student at a deeper level. Welcome everyone. As you join in, please let us know your role and where you're tuning in from. All right, let's get started. Let me stop the music here. Hi everyone, thank you so much for introducing yourself. If you haven't, please type in the chat. Let us know your role and where you're tuning in from. We're very happy to have all the educators here with me, and I'm very excited about this webinar. I want to talk about how we can supercharge your counselor workflow with AI and Google Sheets. We all are very familiar with Google Sheets. However, integrating AI into it might be a new finding for you. And at the end of this webinar, what I hope to accomplish is that you all take away the insight of how to use AI in your school. Most importantly, help you to save time so you can focus on developing deeper connection with your students and give them the support that they need. Let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Michael Cho. I am the research director at Palo SEL. At Palo, we offer SEL as a tier 1 solution tailored specific for middle schools. We have curriculum for grade 6 to grade 7, to grade 8, and our curriculum are specific design for each grade. Our goal is to provide the most relevant SEL that can drive the biggest impact on your students with the essential life skills that they need to go through the challenges in middle school and succeed as a global citizen. One thing that differentiates our SEL from other SEL is that our concise and integrated solution can be implemented within just 2 weeks. And I know that's huge for a lot of counselor and admin because tier one implementation often takes a lot of effort and collaboration. And Palo are designed to lower that burden for you. So if you are just start thinking about SEL, but you don't know where to start, Palo will be a great choice for you to implement. And once you guys develop that common language, have that shift, then maybe you can start considering bringing more curriculum for your students. We proudly partner with many middle school across different states, and we have observed progress in their student-teacher relationship and school climate. It's very rewarding for me to create this product alongside with our team, and hopefully you guys will sign up for the one-on-one and see how powerful Palo can be for you. Today, we will discuss strategy, how you can supercharge your council workflow with AI and Google Sheet. Um, Before I begin, I would like to express my gratitude to all the educators and educator leaders present today. Um, the Power team and I appreciate your dedication and thank you for your participation in this webinar. Please stay until the end. I have a gift bonus for you where you guys can download the Google Sheet that I created, and then you'll be able to leverage the prompt that I designed to use AI to generate the content that you need, whether it is to provide a timely support for your students or design a classroom activities just to remedy some of the classroom challenges that your teachers are facing. All right, without any further ado, let's get right into it. We always begin our webinar with a checking exercise. This helps us to all align our thoughts, and so we can focus on today's topic. Additionally, this exercise also provides an opportunity for all of us to learn about one another. So this will be fun. So feel free to share your thoughts in the chat or unmute yourself and just let us know what you think. So which superpower from the list below would you choose to better support your students and why? We have 5 superpowers here. They all are somewhat important to counselors, depends on the context you're in. Number 1, mind reading. This power enables you to understand what the stressors and challenges of your students, so you can tailor intervention and tackle them directly. Number 2, the heart connection. When you have the superpower, you will be able to understand what's the motivation and passion of your students, so you can develop an intervention that align with what their ambitions are and what they would like to do. Number 3, we have insight into upbringing. We all understand that family background is extremely important to your students' behavior, and what they experience in a family, what kind of family belief they have, will largely affect their behavior in school. So only if we can understand our students a little better about their family, that will really help us. Number 4, student might come into your office feeling grumpy and you don't know what's going on. Or maybe they're angry behind their mask, but they show you a smiley face, but being extremely defensive. Right? Imagine you have an emotional gauge, right? You have an emotional gauge that you'll be able to understand how the students are feeling at the moment, so you can connect them at a deeper level. And number 5, which I think is the most time consuming, assuming that you have all the information from above, you still need to come up with an activity for your students or for your classroom, and they have to be evidence-based and best practices. And that takes a lot of time for you to go out and do research, not only to scrape the internet to maybe click on every single bookmark that you have on your browser in order to just tailor to one activity to them, right? So all those 5 items is very time consuming. Sometimes they're invisible, hard to collect such data. Which superpower would you like to have in order to better support your students? share your thoughts in the chat, or you can simply unmute yourself and let us know what you think. We have actually shared that she would like to have active regeneration. With Holly sharing that she thinks that my reading can be particularly helpful for her because um, what they're thinking is very important. And it's important for her to have a deeper connection by um, guiding them into change those thoughts. Uh, Nikki has 2 and 5 hard connection to be able to know what their motivations are and their interests. And I guess that you would like to use that information to create an activity that's relevant for them so they feel motivated to put some action into their life. We'll have Rhonda saying insight into upbringing, trauma-related issues socially. I'm very glad that you brought that up. I think that's extremely important. I've done research on the trauma-informed intervention, and a lot of times it's not that students are not opening up, it's just that the situation won't allow them to open up and express themselves. So that's a very good point. We have Sandy saying 3 insight to upbringing. Thanks for validating that because I think it's very important for us to know the context and then not bring out any triggers in our counseling session. Gabrielle also agree with that. Insight into upbringing, it will help her to understand what they have been through and what's the best way to support them. We also have Michelle saying my reading to help with the stressors in order to know what is stress them in school, and then we can make their school life less stressful. Right. So if you have thoughts on this and you would like to share with us, please share in the chat. Keep it coming. We'd love to hear more about that. But seems like based on what everyone stated so far, a lot of you guys would like to know what are their challenges. Okay. You guys would like to know what's the family context they grew up on. And most importantly, there are also some counselors saying, not most importantly, but some counselors also saying that activity generation can help and to save a lot of time. All right. Thank you, everyone, to share your thoughts and the reason why. It's always interesting to see how different counselors have different challenges in your school. And we're here to help you guys to see if we can implement AI into your workflow. So therefore, you don't have to do so much guessing work and perhaps save you time to really get into that relationship that you would like to build with your students. All right, let's get ourselves into the headspace over here. So I want to talk about let's meet Miss Jonas. So Miss Jonas had been in middle school counselor for over 12 years and loves supporting her students. However, she often feel overwhelmed in trying to provide a personalized guideline. And while keeping up with the latest research and best practices, right? Uh, I do go on aska.org very, very often. And then just the amount of webinar and resources and articles being published every single day. To not only keep up with that, but also think about how to design a curriculum or a program that's personalized for your students is extremely hard. And by doing all that, I don't know how much time you actually have to develop that connection with your students, which we all know is the most essential. And at a recent training, Miss Jonas discovered the potential game changer, AI. And that's how we all feel about AI right now. It's like we know that it can help us, but we don't know how that can really help us. And that's what today's webinar is about. We know what AI can do. We know what AI cannot do, but we still don't know what we can use AI for in our counseling setting. So let's talk about it. It's hopeful. It's certainly hopeful for Miss Jonas While excited about the time saving, should you remember that AI lacks of emotional intelligence and cannot replace the human connection essential in counseling. And Ms. Jonas was eager to integrate AI thoughtfully to enhance our student support. If you can resonate with Ms. Jonas's challenge, and then you can also resonate her worries and her hope for AI, then you are in the right place. All right, so let's talk about today's agenda. We'll first go over what AI can do in education, and then of course, because AI is uh, making technological leap every single day, this is only up to current research. Um, so please keep up with your AI research if you can, but this is what the current AI can and cannot do. In the future, AI might be able to do extraordinary things that we never imagined it would be able to do. However, I do believe that AI will never be able to replace human connection and relationship. And human empathy will be very, very important to help with your students, right? And then we'll share some of the cases that when AI will do wrong to your students and what we shouldn't rely on AI for certain things. However, AI is powerful in terms of collecting data, identify patterns, and doing service research. And quickly, we'll go into the counseling workflow with AI. I'll give you guys a quick demo. I also prepare material for you guys to follow along. So if you would like to follow along, you can also follow along. I'll share a link in the chat where you can copy that Google Sheet and then work along with me. And lastly, we would like to talk about AI tools and different use cases. All right, so let's talk about what AI is, and then we'll talk about what AI isn't. AI is a supportive tool to automate admin tasks such as answering questions, or you want to automate certain things in a chatbot, right? So when students come to ask you like, when's our assembly time, right? Instead of answering that, you can offer them a chatbot, and that chatbot can store all your school calendar, spring break, assembly time in there. So instead of answering those questions, students can kind of ask your chatbot to get that information to those students. And it's also capable of analyzing large data set. So one of the examples that I can give you guys is imagine you have a large sum of student notes, and you really want to see what are the typical challenges that has happened in the past year according to your student notes. You can feed all your student notes into AI and ask them what are the common challenges that happen between, let's say, June to December. And AI will be able to read through all your student notes and will be able to give you a summary of what they think is the student challenge. Right? And then you can do even further. You can ask them, you are preparing for the next year's tier one program. What can be a tier one program that you can implement it based on the challenge that it detects? Right. So that can be very, very helpful because just reading through 10, 20, 50 pages of student notes will take you a lot of time, while AI can do it instantly. And last thing that you can also do with AI is to make AI an imaginary student. So you can simply type in something along the line as simulate a conversation between me and a sixth grader, and a sixth grader is having a hard time dealing with some family issue. AI will be able to stimulate a conversation, and you can look in the conversation and see what to anticipate and potentially maybe borrow some technique that AI presented to you. So in all, AI is a very good pattern detection tool, and it's also very good to brainstorm and bring you service level research. Now let's talk about what AI is not. AI is not free from bias and inaccuracy. Although it does have all the knowledge on the internet, We all know that if you search on Google, you still have to vet the resource. And AI just like a website. If the creator of the AI has bias or the data that AI is trained on has inaccuracy data, then the AI itself is flawed. So whatever the AI generate content to you, don't just buy into it. Rely on your own counseling expertise and your education. Look at whether what AI is suggesting is free of bias and is accurate. Most importantly, it fits to your situation. That's extremely important. AI will never replace professional reasoning expertise. Right? We can always ask AI, "Hey, my head hurt. Do I take a painkiller?" But if you really want to identify why are you having a migraine, you're probably better off to go see a doctor because the doctor will be able to see certain things that AI won't be able to see. And same applies to counselor and students, right? You can ask AI, hey, my student is throwing a tantrum right now. Should I be worried? What should I do? And I can give you the most generic answer that they know from the web. However, it might not um, fit perfectly into your situation. And you also have a lot of information that you might not be able to articulate to the AI. So therefore, AI doesn't have that accurate information to really generate an effective intervention for you. However, the most important thing is that AI will never develop empathy. And that's what we are very good at as counselors, right? Counselors, we are counselors who are there to develop human relationship with students. And we all know that at the end of the day, the common factors win, right? In a therapeutic situation, in a counseling situation, if you don't have a relationship with the students, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you want them to do, they will never do it. And therefore, AI will never be able to develop that. You, we as human, we have the ability to not only understand students' challenges, but also be able to exert empathy to develop that relationship. And that's what really will help our students. And therefore, you'll never be able to be a crisis response tool. Um, I'm not sure how much you guys have tried on the AI. There are a lot of safeguard around AI now, but when the ChatGPT first came out, if you ask ChatGPT, I'm very sad. I'm depressed. I want to kill myself. ChatGPT will guide you to eventually kill yourself because they don't have the ability to understand that this is not what they're doing. It's unethical, right? The ethical judgment is still within us, and without that kind of deep understanding of human, AI will never be able to support human to heal or tackle their challenges. So what can AI do? AI in education, and I want you guys to all remember this before you start using AI, because without knowing its limitation, you will never be able to maximize its potential. So AI in education, the three things I want you guys to remember. First, AI tools, AI tools are fallible, and they can provide biased and inaccurate information. And that's why we always have to read through what AI generated to us, especially when we're working with vulnerable population, which are our students. The AI will never be able to rely on for diagnosis. And just like any assessment, you can run the assessment, but without human interpretation, we'll never be able to get a comprehensive view of how your school or your students are doing. Lastly, AI will never be able to automate counseling without compromising some quality of care and human connection. There was a time that people were saying that chat bot will be able to replace a therapist. But over the last 2 to 3 years, the conclusion from many research institutions is that at the end of the day, therapeutic relationship requires human and human relationship. Doesn't matter how much AI will be able to propose you to do or um, find out an action plan for a client to work on. Without that human relationship, students won't really improve. And this cannot be stated better than how Rita Pearson has put it. So let's watch this video real quick. It's only 30 seconds, but this is why we're here. We're not here to use AI to replace us. We're here to use AI to empower us so we can focus on developing deeper connection with our students. Let's watch her stating this.
Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult. For years, I have watched people teach. I have looked at the best and I've looked at some of the worst. A colleague said to me one time, they don't pay me to like the kids. They pay me to teach a lesson. The kids should learn it. I should teach it. They should learn it. Case closed. Well, I said to her, you know, kids don't learn from people they don't like. Everyone in this room.
You know, kids don't learn from the people they don't like. That's the key over here. What we're trying to accomplish is that counselors spend so much time doing research and tailor intervention just to get a little bit closer to the students that you want to help. However, you lost so much time doing so that you didn't pay enough attention to them, or you didn't even have time to build connection with them. And that's what this AI will be able to do. AI will be able to help you to become a champion where students feel like they're being understood, where students feel like you know who they are and they can trust you because you are speaking in consideration of their interests and their motivation and their challenges when they are in school. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to emphasize that please focus on the process, not the text that the AI generated, because at the end of the day, we all have to go in and check whether the activity generated by the AI is a good fit for your situation. And so please just focus on the process. You can read into the text, but I'm going to go fairly quick to show you how this can be done with AI. So let's do a quick thought experiment over here. We're all counselors here, and one thing that you typically deal with is that a teacher will come to you and say, hey, I'm having an issue. Can you give me a suggestion? They want to rely on your expertise. In this case, you have a math classroom with a number of, with 10 students, and based on the assessment result, there's a gap in problem-solving skills. Many students struggle to apply their math concept into a real-life scenario. And you talk to the teacher told you that there is a diverse learning pace. Not everyone's on the same page. There's a limited resource for hands-on learning activity. And some students they're just not so motivated. What would you do to help this classroom? And I want to propose these 3 questions, and let's just pause for 1 minute to think about this your own. Based on the situation you're given, what could be a good classroom activity? And once you have that classroom activity, what are the small goals for those classroom activities? And how do you make sure that students make progress after the classroom activity? So based on the situation here, you have a math classroom of 10 students. There is an assessment result on the gap of problem solving. There's some challenge that you receive from teachers that students are at a different pace. There's a limited resources, and some students are not motivated to learn. Based on that situation, what would you do? Feel free to share if you want, but really just kind of going through your head and think about how much work you have to get through to do this. And I'll show you what's the AI way to do it. Right, so we'll start with Gemini by Google. I'm sure all of you have used AI before. There are many different models out there. Gemini is just one of them. It was created by Google, but there are tons of other different text-based AI out there. The most commonly heard is ChatGPT. There's also Claude 2. I think they're version 3 right now. A bunch of different ones that you can look it up. If you would like to know what are all the other quotable AI to use besides Gemini, feel free to send me an email. I would love to share that with you. What's most important is that you go in to use all the different AIs and try and see which one give you the best information that works for you. Um, the reason why you need to do that is because, like I say, every AI has bias and inaccuracy, and it's all based on its creator and the data that's been trained on. So if you there's no way we know how they created such AI. There's no way we know what data this AI has been training on. But what you can do is to use them and see the result coming out of them and decide whether the construct is right, rely on your expertise, rely on your education. And second, whether it generates the impact that you would like to bring to your students. And over time, you'll find the best AI for you. And that there's no best AI for education. They're just different kind of AI because they train on different kind of data and they have different creators. And what's important is for you guys to check out. Right. So let's just use this as our example. Right. So let's come out here. What did I highlight this on that? Give me a second. I would like to type in the prompt for us. Almost there. All right. So what you can simply do is come to Gemini, type in the notes, right? The assessment result, or different challenges. Simply ask them these 3 questions at the end. Oops, I submitted way too early. I want to do this. And that's the question at the end. Oh, we'll just tell you run it. So they have a summary of this. And what we want to ask them is, what could be a good classroom activity and what are the SMART goals and how do you follow up? To put that in, they will generate a classroom activity specifically to your notes. They generate SMART goals and follow-up process. This is already a big help because now you have something to start with without you designing an interventional curriculum from scratch. Now, of course, if you don't like this, you can always say, I would like something different. And then you can add notes that I want more hands-on activity. And then you can continue to populate until you are satisfied with the activity that it generates. All right, so this is one way to supercharge your counseling practice through using AI, and it will generate activities just like that for you. However, generating activity is only part of the process, right? Your support success really hinges on the implementation and your monitoring. So transferring ideas into practical action is just part of the equation. But what's more importantly is you have to diligently document your activities and monitor student progress. And that's what I would like to offer to you all. I want to present a different case. In this case, we're talking about a particular student, Jamie. So Jamie has been underperforming in math and science, being absent for 20 times this semester, always disrupts class, talks out of turns. And you talk to his teacher, and the teacher observed that there might be some learning difficulties in learning math and English. Now, we're going to tailor this. You have Jamie in your office, and you want to start planning immediately, right? So how can we supercharge this? I'm going to share this sheet, but you can also make a copy of your own if you want to follow along. Let me share this link with you all. And if you'd like to follow along, you can follow along with me. I just shared a link in the chat. Once you click on it, you'll be able to make a copy of it, and you'll see something like this. If you don't have the Gemini AI installed in your plugin, make sure you click on this document and then go through the process to install. Otherwise, your formula won't work, right? So let's quickly walk through. Earlier, we talked about the math class with 10 students. There's a noticeable gap in problem solving, and there's a diverse learning pace of that classroom. Now, let me remove this. Right. Imagine that you have no idea what to do, and now you need to design this curriculum. What you can do is, once you have the Gemini AI installed, you can type in Gemini, and I will give you a formula for you to put in. The first thing that you want to put in is the prompt, right? So let's say earlier we want to brainstorm a classroom activity based on the assessment result and note. Once you have that, you want to close it with a quotation mark, put comment on it to separate them, and now you can include the note here. So what this is going to do is Gemini is now going to take your question, which is your request, which is brainstorm a classroom activity based on the assessment result and notes. And then where are the assessment result and notes? It's over here. And once you have that, it will start loading and generate the classroom activity that you need. Okay. But what's valuable in this template is the prompt that I designed for you. I've tried dozens of prompts. In order to make your output useful, you have to have a good prompt that provides a framework for the AI to think like you. Luckily, I already created a prompt for you, and you guys can feel free to revise it however you want, but start with this. How do you do that? Once again, we're going to do equal. We're going to call Gemini. And in this case, you don't have to type anything anymore. Just click on this. And then you don't even need a quotation mark because I have the quotation mark in the prompt. So what now you have to do is add a comment and include all the notes that you would like to include, and then press enter. Now your classroom activities is going to follow the this prompt, right? would like it to suggest a classroom activity that teachers can easily adapt and integrate into their classroom daily schedule. And that's very important because we want to reduce the burden for teachers. I would like them to follow exact outline, including objective, intended outcome, rationale, material, instruction, and resources. We want the AI to write simply and concisely. Now, once we have the classroom activity, and then which we're going to review in a bit, but let's just go through this process first. Now I want to generate small goals. So I'm going to call the AI again, and I want to take this prompt and ask it to understand the classroom activity. And I want to create small goals specific for this classroom activity. Right. So let's look at the prompt. I wanted to, based on the classroom activity, develop a small goal for each following area: academic, teacher-student relationship, and classroom engagement over the next month. So let's see how it does. There you go. And we want to make sure that we follow up and monitor the progress. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call the Gemini function. We're going to put in a prompt, put a comma, and then we wanted to use the small goal to generate a follow-up plan in 30 and 90 days. And voila, you have everything you need at your disposal. I already ran through this process 2 times before this webinar, and there are already 3 activity created, and you can take a look. So what you want to do after this is to click on this link and create a new document. Once you have this document, then you can copy and paste everything in there. So we have the classroom activity copied, small goals copied, and follow-up action copied. The beauty of this is because the classroom activity title is on top, you don't even need to put in the document title. I thought it was very handy. Once you have this, then you can add it to your curriculum SEL. Now let's take a look briefly to see the quality of this AI-generated classroom activities, right? So the objective is to help students to apply math skill to solve real-world problems, such as budgeting, shopping, decision-making, right? It strengthens problem-solving ability, collaborative environment, and this solves the problem that students are all at a different learning stage, right? So in a collaborative environment, that can really resolve this issue that the teachers has to attend to every single student. Now, everyone's can work together, and then students can teach each other. It will foster engagement and motivation throughout hands-on learning. As we request, they would like to have hands-on learning. And you can go through this material to see whether it's easy for teachers to implement, whether it aligns with the challenge that you mentioned in your notes, and see how it works for you. It also provides resources where you can go use it and collect it into your files. You can look into the small goals and then the 30 and 90-day follow-up. And the key here is not to follow along 1%. The key here is to read through them and see if it works for you. If it doesn't work, ask the AI to generate different activities. Maybe you can piece them together into activity that works for your context. And the status, is it being implemented yet or not yet? And if it's implemented, was it evaluated? And how effective it is? Maybe it doesn't work that well, so you give it a 1. And the next activity, if it works well, you give it a 7. And this doesn't only apply to a classroom. What you can also do is, let's say you're about to give a workshop for AI safety, right? And your assessment notes is none. However, the challenge is that students use too much AI for their homework and they are being marked off for incomplete due to inaccurate information. Once you have that, you can do the exact same thing. And just with little notes, that's all you need. Actually, well, let's put in the number of students too. Let's say you want to give a workshop for 60 students all at the same time. Right? So in this case, we can do again. Pick the prompt. Oh, wait, sorry. Call the Gemini formula. Input the prompt, common, and input the notes. And then you will have the first draft for your AI safety workshop. And then the same thing again. You can call Gemini, use the prompt here, and I would like to generate small goals for this workshop. And once again, you call Gemini, use the prompt above, generate follow-up based on the small goal. And now you have a workshop. It just as easy as that. So this will supercharge you to create programs, workshop, intervention, instructional design, just like that, to give you a quick draft. And now you can go in and edit and tailor however you want. But this will save you a lot of time from doing research and looking up best practices. Same as student, right? You come in here, you type in Jamie's situation, academic notes, Jamie's struggling in math and science, attendance, Jamie missed 20 times this semester, always disrupt the classroom, speaks out of turn. And you have your own personal notes here. You can do the same thing. I'll call out the Gemini formula, take the prompt here, put a comma between that, take your note, including student ID, and just let it do its magic. And so forth. Prompt, comma, here, go. Gemini, prompt, comma, note. I'll have to kind of wait until it populates. Okay, and go. Right. So let's take a look. A personalized activity for Jamie. Right, you have the date. This might be it's accurate. It's not accurate because I didn't include the date. So this is something you have to change. So this is a perfect example that once you have the plan, you cannot just buy into it. You have to read through them, but at least it gave you a rough draft of what can be done. And once they are implemented and evaluated, you can come to this dashboard, which will show you that how many classroom intervention has been implemented, how many have been evaluated. And your goal is to continue to monitor them and make sure that whatever is implemented is being evaluated. So you know that what program has been successful for your classroom, for your school, and therefore you can duplicate and continue to use in your community. And by changing the status over here, this will change the number over here. So let's say month 1 classroom activity. You can change this to implemented. Change this to implemented. You can see that implement number has gone up. Okay. So if you think this is helpful, feel free to make a copy for yourself. And this is the Google Sheet combined with Gen AI. And this will supercharge your counseling practice by using AI to help you with planning and keep track, planning, brainstorm ideas, and use this Google Sheet to keep track of your implementation and to make sure that you evaluate how effective the program is. All right, before I move on to the closing, do I have any questions for me regarding how to use this Google Sheets combined with AI in your counseling practice? Hi, Rhonda, you'll be able, I just sent you a link. If you click on that link, you'll be able to make a copy of this Google Sheet. Very awesome. I hope this is not too overwhelming. I think it might take a little time for you to get used to it, but once you have a hand of it, you should be able to use this at any time, including for students, right? So you can imagine not just individual student, maybe you want to create a new student orientation. You can also do that, right? You want to make sure that they know what courses are offered, what kind of attendance criteria that all students need to meet. And then maybe some behavior notes that all students don't know where to go. They kind of feel lost. They would like to meet new friends and then to develop connection with them. All the things you can include in the notes and having to generate an activity idea to onboard, to welcome new students. Or maybe it's an algebra class, right? Or your algebra grades are falling behind and you really need some new strategy in your algebra class. You can just put in algebra class, ESL class, or students who are in Plan 504. And there are many other AI use cases that you can use. Um, in the beginning of this webinar, I mentioned that you can always use AI to analyze large amount of your counseling notes and ask them to identify patterns, challenges, or even positive things in your school, right? You can simply ask them what usually gets students excited about, and they might be able to identify some of them, but always verify with your own experience because there's bias and inaccuracy in AI model. AI is AI can be very, very useful to service relevant research and literature. Once again, a lot of AI models out there, they are being trained based on the web, based on the web. And then there are a lot of um, I wouldn't say faulty information out there, but there are a lot of missing information out there that the AI also have absorbed. So be very careful with where the resource is coming from, and then make sure you verify with your own research. However, they should be able to give you somewhat an idea where to start from, and therefore you don't have to search the web yourself. And AI is it can be very accurate in terms of detecting keywords. So for example, let's say you have an SEO curriculum, and the SEO curriculum will be able to get students to type in how they feel about school or ask them about the challenge that they face in school. You can now use AI to flag certain things, right? So if a student saying that I don't like math, I wish that I can just skip every time. That can be detected through your AI, and that's something that AI can particularly do very well without much problem with it. And that's what we are here for. How SEL makes sure that students are seen. And this is how we do it. I'm sure we're all very familiar with this tier system, NTSS. How you want to think of Palo is that Palo SEL is a tier one solution for you to teach students social skills and life skills. And it only takes 5 minutes a day, sometimes even shorter. And what we will be able to do is that our AI model behind our system will be able to provide you student insight, such as if any students say anything indicates self-harm or hurting others, we will flag it and we'll share that with you. If students saying that I am particularly nervous about tomorrow and they're not feeling too uncomfortable, our system will be able to detect that and share that on your dashboard. So our dashboard can really help you to create that deeper connection, right? Earlier, even though we have the Excel sheet, even though we have AI to help us generate ideas, without your notes, without your observation, there's really nothing to tailor. So if you're not out there to collect student information, which can be very time consuming, then the AI won't really help you other than help you to do research. And this is where Palo's dashboard can really help. So I want to give you guys a sneaky a glance of what council dashboard looks like. So when you log into when you have Palo in your school, not only that we deliver social emotional learning to your students, all their response on our SEL are collected and for you to view. But the goal here is not for you to police them or try to see what they're saying all the time, but rather to let us to detect those flags, and it will bring students who require your attention to your awareness through Counselor Dashboard. So the first thing you see in our Counselor Dashboard is that you will see students with new flags. Right? Every week we send you a notification. You come on, you'll see students with new flags, and flags are usually because they feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? We'll have this checking exercise with the student before they start their SEL. We ask them, how do you feel about today? How are you feeling today? They can express themselves very uncomfortable or they're comfortable. If any students show that they are being uncomfortable for 3 days in a row, we flag them. And that typically means something. Maybe they're stressed about the exam tomorrow. Maybe something happened in their family. Maybe who knows what kind of charge they're dealing with. But at least you get some indication of the students is feeling uncomfortable, and you can reach out to them and have a conversation with them and find out more. And once you identify the core challenges, once you identify what is causing that stress, then you can supercharge your counseling planning using AI with that information. You can look at, once you flag that student, you can click into it and you can see how their feelings fluctuate over time. You can also see what they say in the platform. This is kind of small, but I'm just going to read it off for you guys. The question that we asked the student is, what have you taken responsibility for your own learning this year? Share an example. And the student said that I have asked my teacher questions when I was confused on a certain subject. So you know that this student take ownership of their own learning. But imagine you have a student saying that I don't take responsibility. The teacher is really bad. Then now you have something to deal with, and then you can use AI to help you to figure out what can you do. Maybe it's not the student doesn't. Maybe it's not teacher's fault. It's just that for some reason the students wants more hands-on experience, and then you can use the AI to develop an instruction that enable hands-on experience in the classroom rather than just letting teachers to or rather than let the students fall through the crack. We can also detect feeling swing. So anytime there's a swing, we will also detect them. If you would like to see more of what Counselor Dashboard can do to you, we welcome you to sign up our one-on-one demo, where we will be able to walk you through the curriculum that we deliver to your students, and then how you can implement this within 2 weeks. And within 2 weeks, you'll start seeing all the student insight from your students. Before I do Q&A, I just want to let you guys know that you can find our webinars at palo.com. So feel free to come in here. We'll have another webinar in the middle of the May. And again, we are going to bring you another AI tool that will be able to supercharge your counseling workflow. So the bonus gift that we would like to offer you as a special thank you for joining our webinar, you'll receive a free 3-month trial to experience Palo SEO firsthand. So please sign up your one-on-one demo today. And within 30 minutes, you'll not only understand what we're offering in our SEL curriculums, you will see how our classroom activity is really effortless for teachers to implement. And the counselor dashboard that I showed you guys earlier and how that will be able to, to bring you insight from your students. All right, I'm open for any questions. I know we're over time. Thank you very much for attending this webinar and participating with me here. I'll be here for another 5-10 minutes for any questions if you guys have. Other than that, please make sure that you check out our website for the next webinar and sign up for our one-on-one demo and see how our solution can transform your school in short 2 weeks. Of course, Rhonda and Ashley and Holly, thank you for joining us. No problem, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. I'm also going to share the link for Candy. So if you cannot scan the QR code, feel free to use the link to schedule your one-on-one with us. All right, so if we don't have any questions about this webinar or regarding Palo SEO, I would like to dismiss everyone here by ending this webinar. Thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in the next webinar. Bye.